Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Coach JC. Everyone gather around, she better get one today. Today's topic is she didn't choose the wrong man to be a child's father, he chose not to be active. A lot of times we want to blame women that, hey, you chose wrong, choose better men to procreate with. But 9 times out of 10, the guy pretty much is faking his whole personality, his whole persona when she met him. So a lot of times you can't really put all the blame on her. Yeah, there might have been some red flags. Yeah, there might have been some things that could have that she could have looked at, she could have evaluated, um, you know, years or moments prior. But the child is here. The child is here, and once you have a child, you have to make sure you do your due diligence to help raise that children. She didn't make the child by herself, so she should be the only one that's helping participate in raising your children. So you have to be very mindful when you're a man, when you're out here sleeping around different women. That hey, even if you use protection, even if you play it safe or you don't really be active enough with different women, you still can create a child. So best just to be very cautious, be very aware, and understanding that there's always a possibility when you are sexually active with a woman. This woman, you didn't want a child with, you didn't want to be with her. Don't even lay down. Don't even lay down with her. It's not even something to be debating or arguing about. Because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, she wants you active in a child's life. She wants you participate in the child's life. She wants you active father. But a lot of times as men, we don't want to step up to the plate and own it. We don't want to be that father. We don't want to be that role model. We don't want to be that example. We want to be the example of what not to do, what fatherhood don't look like. And at the end of the day, you're only beating yourself up. And as a woman, you got a man don't want to step up to the plate. He don't want to play a role as being a father. Then hey, don't chase him. Don't advertise him. Agonize him. Don't be begging him to be a father. Don't beg him to be in his child's life. Cause guess what? He gonna have to go to the grave with that. He gonna be the one on his deathbed. He gonna be the one looking back 20 years from now when he sees his baby girl or his baby son grow up and maturing. He gonna be like, man, I missed out on birthdays. I missed out on graduation. I missed out on this party, that party. And I understand, being a man, you're not gonna be able to make everything. But looking back, you're gonna have to really evaluate yourself and ask yourself these questions about why was I not active in my child's life. And a lot of times we'll say you wasn't active in your child's life because you was out there with different women, drugging, with gangs, mobs. You really wasn't a participant. You missing all that time that you could be spending time with your children doing stuff that's unproductive. I understand we gotta work. You know what I'm saying? We gotta work, we gotta pay bills, we got responsibilities. But what all are you doing in your free time? Because me personally, like outside of me working and stuff, outside of that, I'm always, encouraging my daughter, always just want the best for her. It was big to see her go back to school or start pre-K. Those moments are a lifetime. Can't wait till she gets older and she starts maturing a lot more. We can start doing daddy-daughter dance, paint and sell. It's just, it's a blessing when it comes down to being a father. It's an active role that, God has put on me. And like I said, men need to just take it more serious and just not just look at it like you're just doing a woman a favor. Nah, you lay down with that woman, you procreate, and then it's your both y'all responsibility to take care of that child. And a lot of times men, we want to neglect our responsibilities or put it off on somebody else. But nah, you be active participant. It's not really like doing her a favor. It's about, doing what's right and doing your best you can do. So when you're on your last leg, you can be like, you know what? Daddy showed up, daddy gave, he may not have made every game, he may not have He may not have been to all my football games, my basketball, ballet practices, but guess what? He showed up when it mattered the most. He gave me wisdom. He gave me words of encouragement, inspiration, and he did his thing. You know, you can go on your deathbed, you can go to your coffin saying that you did your best, and that's all you can do. You know, like my father-in-law, like I said, he recently passed away. And what everything was saying that his obituary, well, hey, he did his job. You know, he did his job as far as raising his children. You know, they out there successful, independently doing their own thing. And that's all you can ask for a father. You know, yeah, you ain't gonna make every football game, basketball, ballet game, but at least show up, at least be present. That's the biggest honor you can do as a father. You know, be present and do your best. You know, but yeah, though. Like I said, a lot of times we talk about, oh, women need to choose better. Yeah, women do need to choose better. You know what I'm saying? At times, you know, don't just kind of go for the flow. Don't just kind of go for the dude who just ear talking and stuff. Really, you know, value the man who wants value family time, values quality time with you guys. You know, want to take you guys out vacation-wise. He wants to take you guys out. You know, to see his parents or just go traveling with one another. You want the family oriented man, you know, but at the same time though, you gotta kind of look beyond just the physical, beyond just the height and all the stuff that's just not gonna matter at the end of the day. You know, you gotta look at the man's heart, you gotta look at the spirit, you gotta see his determination and just his overall well-being. You know, this man capable of being a father, you know. And like I said, women, like I said, for the most part, like I said, it's not easy. And like I said, they choose wrong or hey, he didn't want to step up. Guess what? That's his life. He the one that's gonna miss out on graduations, back to school, fests, doctor's appointments, everything. And then that's something he has to live to when they get older. And they may mess with him. They may ask him what happened. That's something he has to answer to them. So I wouldn't put no pressure on it. You know, especially coming down to the holidays or you know, because some parents they be like, well, I'm gonna give a Christmas card to you guys. It's from your dad, or hey, you know, your dad brought these donuts, or your dad did all this, knowing damn well their dad didn't do anything, any of that stuff. But you know, they just want to kind of give the child encouragement. But you know, that's okay to some point. But at the end of the day, like I said, they're gonna get older. They're gonna know the truth on his side, her side, and guess what? That's something you're gonna answer to over dinner, over coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and why you didn't show up. Because you're going to hear mom's side. And as a woman, don't belittle him, don't degrade him. You know, the children start asking about that. Just like, you know what, he's not presently here, but we're focusing on the right here, right now. We're doing the best we can do right now. You know, I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to disrespect him. This is his choice. You know, I'm not going to say anything to disrespect him. When you get age, call him, meet up with him, do a meet and greet, and see why he's not presently involved in your life. That's all I really have to say. What's your thoughts about this topic? Feel free to comment below. Till next time out, Coach JC.